Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, put some emojis in the chat. We're very happy to have you join us for season 2 of Emotionless career series. Yes, this season 2 is focused on leadership. So if you can hear me, just put some emojis in the chat. Tell me how you're feeling. Are you excited? Were you in the previous session? How have the insights impacted your career so far? We're very happy to hear from you. Okay, so welcome once again to Emotionless Naked Career Truth series with Abiodun Ajiborode and Emmanuel. We'll be kicking off straight away, and I'll hand you over to my colleague, Ife Dolapo. Thank you. Ife, over to you.
Thank you very much, Toka. And I'll be very quickly taking us through what organization is behind all of this, and that's the Brand Management Academy. And the Brand Management Academy is the foremost academy for marketing leaders. It's a practical brand management training academy in Nigeria. And our purpose as an organization is to develop practicing and aspiring marketing professionals. And we have a lot of training programs designed specifically to raise a lot of leaders in the marketing space who understand marketing from its basics down to the professional level. And our vision as an organization is to become the foremost practical marketing capability development hub in Nigeria. And our mission, what we do every day, is to improve the performance of marketing professionals by equipping them with the practical skills and tools that they require to build a great brand and great career. And we have a very unique learning approach, what we call the EPIC learning approach. And E stands for the experience-based teaching, where you'll be getting a combined 100 years experience from the different fields in marketing, which will be downloaded onto your brain in just a few days, and in some of our programs, a few weeks. And then we have the practical execution design learning approach, where we don't just teach you the theory of marketing, we bring it out, you do the practicals. We don't even do exams at BME, which is part of our learning approach. It's practical. You have to bring everything we taught you to life. And then we have the investigation-based planning, where we give you what we call the gene, the intellectual genes, where we exercise your ability to detect cases, detect numbers, understand numbers. And then there's a case study review where we have lots of reviews, classical reviews in marketing, where our students get to test their ability to solve complex organizational problems. We have different certification programs. We have the 3-month certification programs, which we call the Advanced Brand Management Modules. This particular program is delivered in 12 weeks. And for the 12 weeks, we have the 10 modules, which will take us through. First, our students must understand marketing leadership. And this module is where we teach you the basics of marketing leadership, how marketing is different from other functions, and how marketing works together with other functions. We have the second module where, which is the Brand Management Foundation, where we explore the principles and fundamentals of brand management. Here, everybody gets to understand what it takes to build great brands and how to build brands from scratch. We have the third module, which is the Brand Finance and Profitability. Here, marketing leaders must understand numbers. What's your profits margin? How do you optimize it? Where's the growth going to come from this year? That's where this module is very key for you as a marketing leader or an aspiring marketing leader. We have the fourth module, which is the innovation management, where we teach you how to develop an innovation from concept to the commercialization. And for us at BMA, we believe that an idea is not yet an innovative idea, it's not yet an innovation unless it is commercialized. And then we have the fifth module where our students are taking through how to generate insights. which is how to understand your consumers, analyze your consumers, how to come up with marketing insights and apply it as a competitive edge. And our sixth module is the marketing communication principle. How do you, when you build your brand, how do you take it into the world? How do you launch it? And then we have the media management and planning module, where our students will explore effectively how to connect with their consumers, with their brand messages. And also we have the brand execution planning class, where we bring all of this together. When you have your brand, you understand the numbers, you understand how to innovate and grow, you understand your consumers, you understand how to communicate, how to plan your media, how do you bring all of this together and bring it to life. And then we have the marketing measurement and metrics also module also. And then one other program that we have is the strategic leadership and corporate reputation management. And this is the part 2 of their brand management class. How do you transform into the leadership space? We have the section 1, which is the business leadership fundamentals, where we take you through the fundamentals of how to be a leader in the marketing space, how to be a commercial leader, how to drive business value from the top, how to explore a reverse thinking model. And then we have the section 2 of the program, where you are taught how to plan businesses, how to do strategic business planning, which will start with how to understand what to look out for, how to analyze your business environment, and how to also manage the operations of a business, and how to develop plans, short-term and long-term and medium-range plans. And then we have the third section of this program, where business leaders are taught how to communicate, how to build the reputation of a business. And these are some of the modules that will be deploying for this strategic reputation and corporate leadership program. And then we have the career acceleration programs and modules, which is actually targeted towards marketing professionals and who are still in the 0 to 5 years experience level. These are probably core members who are just starting out their careers. And at this level, we understand that a lot of them don't really understand what this is all about yet. And what we're doing here is downloading 20 years of experience from our coach down onto these people, which gives them a edge in their career. And for this particular program, we have 5 modules. And the first module is very fundamental, which will take them into understanding the business environment, how to business function, and also fitting into the system and understanding the system, how to make it work for you. And in the second module, they'll be taught about how to position themselves for leadership, and how to understand interest play and power play in an organization, and how to leverage emotional intelligence for their own benefit. And also for the third module, we'll be teaching them business numbers. At this level, there's some software that they should be able to use competently in the business environment. And these are some of the things you'll be learning. And also they'll be learning business skills. They'll be learning how to work in a team, how to lead teams, and also they'll be learning how to engage stakeholders. And for the 5th module of this CAP program, I will be also showing them some interview simulations, assessments of their current interview, and also there'll be a lot of career planning talks. And also we have some other boutique programs, short programs. We have the marketing fundamental masterclass, which is for 2 days. We have the marketing finance and brand margin management, which is also for 2 days. We have the managing innovation through commercialization. Also, we have the strategic sales and marketing management. We have trade marketing masterclass for aspiring trade marketing leaders. We have marketing leadership masterclass. We have the marketing execution fundamentals. And lastly, we have the managing brand offline and digital connection class. Thank you very much. I'll be handing us over to Tunde, my colleague, to take us through what is next.
Thank you so much, Ife, for that introduction. Gives me a great opportunity to do the introduction of the fourth speaker. And that is no other person than my own mentor, my coach, and we call him the senior evangelist, in the marketplace and the presiding bishop of Brand Management Academy. So, going through his profile, Dr. Abiodun Ajiborode is a consummate commercial leader with 2 decades experience in organization leadership, strategic brand and marketing management, leading commercial operations, business model re-engineering, and steering growth and innovation. He started his career at MTN as customer service executive, from where he joined Pierson Consulting as associate consultant, focusing on marketing and business development. He later joined Promasidor Nigeria as category brand manager, and since then he has worked in various multinationals such as Coca-Cola International, Coca-Cola Hellenic, InBev, PZ Cussons, Grand Oak Limited, Monument Distillers Limited, the makers of famous Four Cousins wine, as a brand and trade marketing director for Nigeria. And he is currently the CEO of Loopholes Finder and founder of Brand Management Academy. Over the 2 decades that he's been in the industry, he has managed brands as Coca-Cola, Sprite, Fanta, Five Alive, Schweppes, Cowbell Milk, Loyal Milk, Keno, and Sip detergents. Trophy Lager, Cut Out, Miller Genuine Beer, Castle Light, 1960 Roots Bitters, Siemens Schnapps, Lost Dry Gin, Four Cousins Wine, to mention a few. Dr. Abiodun holds a BSc from Abbas Ali University and an MBA from the Lagos Business School. He is a chartered member both with the Chartered Institute of Marketing of UK and the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria. He's currently a doctorate candidate at the Swiss Business School, so it is not out of place if I call him a doctor, and has attended several executive training programs in top institutions such as Kellogg Business School, Harvard University, and Cornell University. He's a career and business coach and the founder of Loopholes Finder Consulting, a brand and marketing consulting company, and also the founder of Brand Management Academy, a brand and marketing training school, which Ife just took us through. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me and welcome Dr. Abiodun Ajiborode. Over to you, sir.
Okay, Tunde, thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
By the way, you are not my professor, so I don't know when you've conferred doctorate on me. Don't let them increase my fee or strengthen my time of completion. You are prophesying it will come to pass. Don't worry. So I don't claim that for now. But thanks for the introduction. Everyone, welcome. Toka was chatting. I will say is future pacing, and I agree with you, Toka. So it's part of I think it's part of consumer psychology. So you are predicting to the future. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, it's the evening. This is 4:30, so stay safe to say good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be joining. So I think in the next few minutes, I just want to take you through some aspect of leadership, carve out of my experiences. And then we're going to have, the veteran Emmanuel coming on board. We're doing something today, and I call it the good cop and the bad cop. So you probably will be hearing something different from Emmanuel that is not in tandem with what you will hear from me. And it is important that we actually strike that balance. And that is why you are seeing what the title of my conversation will be. It's about balanced leadership. Let me hide this so that you can see the entire screen. So, for sure, I think leadership is one of the subjects in the management arena that has been, I think, two words: leadership and strategy.
those two words have been bastardized in terms of what people have done with them over the years. So a lot of things have been written about leadership. And I'm not standing here to say I am a leadership expert, but what I want to do is to try as much as possible to put my experience and the experience garnered from, very close friends or professional colleagues that can help you, navigate your path into leadership easily, and then being a leader that is celebrated. I will start with some very, very interesting assumptions that leadership it's never a position, it's not a title. It's more of a mindset and, an embodiment of responsibility, courage, decisiveness, and grit. And we're going to see that as we go ahead. However, before moving into that, we remember I don't know how many people here got the link to this survey. And a lot of you actually came back to fill the survey, and then we harvested the responses, and then we're able to actually translate those responses into something that can actually bring some light into what those questions were leading to. I'm going to share the result of that online poll, and then we'll take it from there. So there were, I think, 20 questions in all. And those questions have, some kind of rating from strongly agree to strongly disagree. So the first questions, was about leadership style. And I think that question is about leadership style impact my performance at work. And a lot of people agree with that. So there's a correlation between that to say that, leadership is everything in the corporate environment. And I think it's very important that we take this subject into account and discuss it effectively. The second question talks about tough leadership get result from the team. If you look at the skew of the responses, the first one's talking about strongly agree. It is 7.5 of the people, and we have altogether we have 53 people that actually responded. Out of these 53 people, 7.5 believe that tough leader get results. But when you look at where the bulk of the responses sit, it sits within neutral and disagree. And in the understanding of net promoter score, if some of you are experts, and anybody in the neutral is when you do net promoter score, you just subtract them. So, but if you look at that bulk, a lot of people in neutral are more of the disagree more than just the agree part of it. So it shows that you don't have to be, a tyrant to actually get results in an environment, in a working environment. That is what this result is presented to us. The other ones talk about when managers respect me, I am motivated to do more. We see a lot of people believing that, 84.9%. And if you add that 9% that agreed to it, that is almost, the major part of the number of people who responded. So respect from the leaders are very, very important to people to motivate them to do more. I work well when my manager is around. So if you also see that response, it looks like the tough leaders, if you look at the skill, it's more of neutral and disagreement. So, and this is leading to being micromanaging. Micromanaging people doesn't help, and that is what this result is telling us. You don't have to actually be on top of the head of people for them to get their work done. I consider humility as an important value for leadership, and you see a lot of people believing that yes, you can be a leader, but you should still, exhibit some characteristic of humility and being humble with your leadership position. And I think this is instructive for leaders listening and those who are aspiring leaders. I don't like being forced to do my job. So again, if you do a if you cross that question with when my manager, if you cross that question with when my manager is around, I do my work, you realize that they are very, very closely linked together, because people really deliberately don't really like to be forced to do their job. Yes, if you listen to the last part of the first set of Emotionless, we speak into individual and let them understand their responsibility within an organization. So this time we're talking to the leaders. So we're trying to do a balanced approach to this, and you will hear what Emmanuel is going to talk when he takes over. I feel discouraged when I am being spoken to in a disrespectful manner. That is very, very obvious and very, very clear. Nobody wants to be spoken to in a disrespectful manner. I am at my best when I am appreciated for what I do. So reward and recognition is very, very key to people. And I think this is it. We can't overflow this if you're a leader. I feel used when my manager does not support my personal development. If you look at that skill, it is neither here or there. But if you take the upper part of it, strongly agree is about 28.3% and about 15.3% for agree. If you had both of them together, it's leading to about 40%. That's a significant chunk of it. So a lot of people believe that, support from their manager for their personal development is also critical. And I also think it's something that managers should start thinking about. I work better when my manager gives me space. People don't want to be micromanaged. Give them space, let them use their creativity. At my work, I feel happy when the atmosphere is friendly. Nobody wants to work in a very hostile environment. So it's important for leaders to understand the importance of creating an enabling environment and making people willing to come to work every day, and not, becoming a tyrant and creating very, very toxic environment. I will struggle to work with a manager that is older than me. This is something that is very, very interesting. A lot of people believe that age is not a barrier. You can be 20 years and still be anybody's manager. And I think this is this is a change in mindset and a change in dynamic from what we used to know in the past, that when your manager is higher than you, then is older than you in age, is a problem, and you start thinking. And I think this is very, very, very encouraging and interesting. I feel comfortable with hard feedback if it's truthful, and a lot of people will take feedback, whether you can eat them, as long as there is an element of truth in what the feedback looks like. I feel sad when I learn new things from my manager. So you can see that a lot of people disagree with that statement, and he's saying that people are willing to learn from their leaders if you are a supportive leader. I go to work sometimes because of my manager. A lot of people are saying that they disagree, and you see a lot of people disagree. Now, a lot of people disagree with that statement. So it means that the manager itself is important. However, a lot of other factors get people to really, really come to work. I work better in a team when my manager treats people equally, and you can see a lot of people agreeing to that assumption. I can work extra hour at work without being paid when I'm happy, and you see what it means. So it's not about payment alone or money alone. If you give people an enabling environment and make them happy, you can get more value from them. And the last question, and I think maybe it's almost the last question. So I believe my manager is responsible for my career growth. A lot of people don't believe that their manager is, and I love this. This is another shift in the dynamics of the work environment. People are beginning to take their personal development into their hands, and that is what we call professional ownership. We're owning that, and I think I love that result. I do count on my manager to support my career, and a lot of people believe that managers should actually support their career. And I think it's very, very instructive for managers to understand. This is the mindset of people. We send interview, we send questionnaire out, and this is 53 people saying, and we can see the numbers that still believe that managers should be supportive when it comes to career. Then this is the last question. They say, I will decline a better offer because of a good manager. So if you look at that, it is neither here or there, but if you scale it up into strongly agree, you will realize that that's almost about 35%. It's about 33.3%. point something percentage when you look at that scale. So it shows that there are still some people who believe who will be loyal as long as their manager is a very, very good manager. So conclusion, my extraction from this little poll that we did is that leadership is really not a position but responsibility. It is more of influencing than coercion. So it's not about being hard on people. It's about influencing them to actually deliver. Generally, people love freedom, and we do well if given opportunity and space. They hate micromanaging. Leaders who are humble and respectful will get more done through their subordinates. An employee value recognition, autonomy, and enabling environment. They are not age bias, and this is like summarizing what this opinion poll is. And thank you very much for responding, and I think it's instructive. It gives me a kind of base for what I want to discuss today, and that was why I actually created that poll to get people's feeling before we discuss anything. And this feedback kind of reinforce some of the things that I had in mind. It kind of support the assumptions, and those hypotheses can then become something that we can discuss as a team today. Now, having said that, what is leadership? Leadership has nothing to do with seniority or the position of hierarchy in an organization. That's not leadership. If somebody is on the higher level, that is seniority. Seniority is different from leadership. So leadership is not management. Management means managing resources, but leadership means leading people. So we shouldn't confuse these two items. But I see a lot of people use it interchangeably, but they are totally different. You can be a manager of resources and not be a good leader. However, there are some things that makes the definition leadership. So leadership is the process of social influence, and you can see those words in red. It is about influencing. It is about influencing. Influencing doesn't mean you are coercing people. It means that you speak into their soul and they are willing to actually follow you, which maximizes the effort of others. So there must be people you are leading. Somebody said if you are leading people and nobody is following you, that you're only taking a stroll. There must be people involved in leadership. Then there must be that power of influencing. And those two things must be galvanized towards the achievement of a particular goal. And that is what leadership is all about. So there have been a lot of things, like I said initially, that have been written on leadership, and I'm not going to come and start, defining leadership and all of that. All I want to do is set the base for balanced leadership. There are a lot of models, 8 dimensions of leadership. There are a lot of, different personality types that have been discovered. If you go and read something around this, you see a lot of those things. And I'm not going to discuss that today, but it's just to let you know that leadership is a subject that has been discussed extensively in the corporate world, and is still something that is very, very relevant in an organization. Leadership can change the course of a business, and leadership can actually, change the performance of an organization. So leadership is very, very important, and that is why we are discussing it. But today I'm going to discuss leadership from 3 things: leading from your head, leading from your heart, and leading from your hands. The head, the heart, and the hands. And these are the foundation of my conversation today. Now let's start with, what does it mean to lead from the head? Leading from the head implies, can you still hear me, guys? I just know. Can you still hear me? Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We can see your screen.
Okay, fantastic. So leading from the head implies, as a leader, you have knowledge, the requisite knowledge to actually lead your team. You have intelligence and you have wisdom. These 3 things are very critical if you're leading team. And I'm going to break them down as we move one after the other. The second thing is leading from the heart. You can't be an effective leader if you don't love the people you are leading. And when I mean love, you love, literally love and care about them. You must show some level of empathy. And you must be what? Somebody who value equity. The third thing is leading from your hand. You can't fold your hand at the back and say you're leading people. It doesn't work that way. Leading with the hand implies that you're going to be supporting them. Sometimes you might need to do some, division of labor to ensure that your team deliver on the task at hand. You might need to show them direction. So you might need to, use your skills to actually guide them. So you must use your hands. Then you must be able to direct them. Directing is about showing, and most of the time you show with your hands and not with any other part of the body. You must be willing to defend them. You use hand to actually defend when you are fighting against somebody. You defend your team. I've seen instances in which issue happened before the issue even is discussed. A leader is already, putting the head of the subordinate on the shopping board for the management to cut. So a leader must, one, support when the team needs some level of support. He must be willing to direct. Directing means giving the right instruction. And the third thing is you must be willing to what? Defend. And we're going to look at all of this one after the other. So let's start with the head, because this is where some of the problems that we see emanate from. One of the things I never do is, get envious of my team members. I don't know why I should be envious about. I don't know, because that's the truth. Because I can't reconcile being envious or thinking that he's coming to come and take my role, or he knows very well that, I become threatened. Those things are factor of knowledge. When there is gap in the knowledge of a leader, then you enter that tendency of being threatened. The second thing is intelligence. And intelligence is not knowledge, it's your ability to apply knowledge. And the third thing is wisdom. And we're going to discuss each of those ones. So let's talk about what knowledge is. Knowledge is fact, information, and skill acquired through experience and education, both theoretical and practical understanding of a subject matter. That is knowledge. This is what you get from reading. This is what you got from attending seminars, attending schools, and all of that. However, intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply the knowledge correctly in such a way that it produces results. So if you are a leader, you must have the requisite skills that is required to lead whatsoever function, whatsoever unit you're leading. How are you a sales manager if you don't even understand the 7 steps of selling? How do you want to do what do you call this? You go alongside with your team member into the trade? Like adjournment. I know there are different terminologies for it. Some call it accompaniment. How do you want to do that if you don't know what the sales is all about? Then you have a problem. Are you coaching? Are you guiding? You're a marketing person, you're a leader in marketing, you don't even know what are the components of a brand plan. Are you going to give them the right direction? And this is some of the problems that we see. When a leader is in a position and doesn't have the requisite knowledge to operate effectively on that seat, it becomes very, very extremely difficult for you to actually guide your team. And if there's anyone under you who now know that, then you've become threatened. If you don't even have emotional intelligence to actually, galvanize your team to deliver. And the last thing is wisdom, and it's the combined use of awareness, experience, and insight to set direction, empower people, ensure well-being, and guide activity to produce lasting results. Wisdom is not learned, but it's something that over a period of time you garner through experience that helps you actually lead your team right. So if you're going to succeed as a leader, you must, get these three things that are very, very important. Knowledge, be solid in your field. Read, get, very quality experience. Get people, get coach, get mentors who helps you. Expose yourself to a lot of things for you to be able to function effectively. That is when your team begin to give you the kind of regard that you deserve. And intelligence is not, it's very, very critical that you don't just take those, attend, programs, attend educational, vocations, and at the end of the day, you can't apply them. So to be an effective leader, you must go through you must acquire these three things that are very important. Now, when we talk about knowledge is fact, like I decided, it's been established that the best leader knows a lot about the domain in which they operate. Very important. I am not of a school of thought that said you can lead without necessarily knowing what the team are doing. A lot of people believe that, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because the question is, what are you leading if you don't understand what the team are doing? How do you improve? How do you, guide them? How do you add value to them when you don't know it? I am not saying you have to be a subject matter expert in everything, but you must understand the reason for the function. Why is finance in this business? What is the role of finance? What are the key things that finance should do to help me deliver? So you should understand if you're a CEO of an organization. But you can't tell me because, I don't know what technical, I'm not an engineer, so I shouldn't know what technical are doing. No, it doesn't work that way. The bottom line is for you to actually create opportunity for people to take you through and have understanding so that you can actually make improvements. The reason is that knowledge empowers you to guide your team, train them, help them solve problems, define goals, and assign projects. However, like I said, as you grow in career, you need to move from knowing everything to trusting people. To do things for you. You must grow from being a specialist leader who focus on facts and know what to do to a generalist leader who focus on relationship. So if you're going to lead effectively, yes, no, but at some point in time in career, you have to move from, doing into enabling people to actually do. So let's talk about 3 ways in which a leader can actually transfer knowledge. If you have the knowledge, how can you transfer it? There is a linear transfer model where it is on one-on-one. A lot of times you set your one-on-one with your team members and you actually transfer that knowledge to them. There is a convergent method in which you are 1 or 2 or 3 leaders come together to actually pass knowledge into one entity. And there is what we call the divergent one, where one person actually passes it, just the same way myself and Emmanuel will be doing today. We are talking to, I don't know how many people are online, but we are talking to many of you. So these are ways in which knowledge can be passed. Let's talk through intelligence. Like I said, it's the ability of the leader to acquire and apply knowledge, skills intelligently. So intelligence is an ability to comprehend, use thoughts and reasoning to actually solve problems. So what type of intelligence are needed or is needed by a leader to be successful? One, you have what we call analytical intelligence, and this is about computation. So you need to have analytical intelligence, you need to have creative intelligence. As a leader, you should be able to know your numbers, know how to analyze, business problems. But more importantly, you should be imaginative and be able to actually apply some innovative problem-solving skills. And the last one is about practical intelligence, which is you have to have some what we call the street knowledge. You have to be street smart. If you're going to lead effectively, you need to combine these three things under intelligence: analytical, creative, and practical, which is more of being street smart. Because sometimes your experience will fail you. It is your understanding of those commonality, those common sense that will deliver for you in some time that you have problems to solve. So let's talk through wisdom. Wisdom is having a deep understanding of the reality of people, things, events, or situation, resulting from ability to choose and act accordingly to produce optimum result. Is the ability to make correct judgment. And that is what this wisdom is all about. You can have the knowledge and the intelligence. The wisdom is what will make the entire difference as a leader. As a leader, you just find yourself, because you're in that position, then a lot of people want to please you. So somebody is gossiping about this person, another person is gossiping, but they are saying something. It is wisdom that helps you to actually make correct judgments. So you need wisdom. Otherwise, you get something from A and you start acting based on that, inference that you got from A. Meanwhile, you're on a very, very, very wrong path. Very, very wrong path. So let's talk about wisdom. Wisdom has two roads. The first road to wisdom is when you go through it, the experience yourself. That's a very long road. You experience, and then it gives you the wisdom because you've gone through this issue. But the second part is a shorter road, which is what we are doing today. For some of you who are smart, who are here, we said this is free. A lot of people will just look at it and move on. It's not necessary. Like I tell people, it's not compulsory to be successful in life. But some of us will try and do what we can do to assist people to understand. From our knowledge, we are transferring some of these things to you to help you as you grow in your career or as you grow generally in life. So there are shorter version to it, which is when you get through the coaching and through mentoring session. So let's discuss the component of wisdom. Wisdom, one, experience. Experience, that they said, is the best teacher. But I said, what do you call it? In the emotionless version, we said it is analyzed experience. So you can go through experience and go through that experience over and over and not get any wisdom out of it if you do not analyze it. When you analyze it, you see what are the values inside this experience that I must take along as I move on from this particular stage in my life. Experience, very critical. Empathy, you can't lead with wisdom without having empathy. Reflection is the ability to think back. Equanimity, like you said, it's largely around being fair to people, and we're going to see. Prudence, objectivity, introspection, adaptability, humility, and knowledge. All of these are components that makes someone a wise person. When you say this is a wise leader, then it means that person has embodied all of these attributes. So before you can actually lead with some level of wisdom, you need to exhibit and inculcate some of this attitude into your lifestyle, and it's very, very critical. So let's talk from leading from the heart. And like I said, it's one thing that separates a great leader from a good leader. You can have a good leader that is not a great leader. It is the ability to love genuinely people that you lead. If you love genuinely people that you need, you will not be biased when it is time to do assessment for people, to objectively promote people, and you will forget about race, gender, forget about tribe, forget about where the person came from, whether it's Igbo, Hausa, or whatsoever it is. It's irrelevant. And that is a function of leading from the heart and not leading from your head. So let's talk about leading from the heart. When you lead through the heart, it means you are demonstrating love for the people that you are leading. And how do you show love to people you are leading? One, we'll get into that. And the second part of it is empathy. The third is equity. So let's talk about, leading from the heart and focusing on the subject of love. When you love the people that you lead, it then means that you are treating them like, human being. And I mean human being. Because employees do have souls, or the people that report to you, they have souls. They are not machines. They have hearts, souls, and they have what? Feelings. So true leader lead with love. With love. I have instances in my experiences in which a lady will call. I've been somewhere in, salespeople can be brutal sometimes. I know they are chasing numbers, but again, we just need to actually garnish some of these things with some level of empathy and love. Somebody called and from the blue to say, my girl is sick and I have to take her to the hospital, so I won't be able to come very early. And the manager fled off and would say, I don't care about your girl. And I was in that, when he finished speaking, I said, that is totally wrong. Give people the benefit of the doubt first. You don't care about the girl, whether it is true or it is not true. Then it means you don't even have the feelings. You don't have empathy. True leaders lead with love and understand the emotional impact of actions and inactions on their followers. I've lived with managers in which when they get angry, you call them, you are calling them, they won't pick your call again. And the question then becomes, if you are the one calling me, if I don't pick the call, how will you feel? Yes, you are angry, but your inaction of not picking the call is actually creating emotional baggage. Because you're a leader doesn't give you right to actually, damage people's life, character, humility, or damage their emotion. You have to lead your team with love. Very important. True leaders have what we call intelligent quotient. They have emotional quotient, and most importantly, they have love quotient. It's not just being intelligent and knowledgeable. It's not knowing yourself, which is about the emotional intelligence, but it's about being compassionate and loving the people you lead genuinely. And I've seen all manner of things, guys. I've seen people, leaders verbally assault people, insult them, curse them, brutalize their emotions, tell them, get out of my office. You are mad, you are crazy. The question I ask myself is, if we are not in this office and we met alongside Oshodi, can you in your life say those kind of things to me? So the question is, let us give some room for respect and honor of people that actually work with us. Yes, we might get angry, but let's tame that anger with some level of love. And that is what a great leader actually do. So let's talk about leading with empathy. Empathy is the ability to, visualize yourself in the shoe of what the person is going through. Like the example of the lady that called in and the manager said, I don't care. Let's flip the scenario to say, is the manager's daughter or the manager's son that has problem? And the manager is calling them to say, guys, I might be late this morning. My baby is having, and let's assume that the subordinate said, we really don't care about it. How will you feel as a manager? You feel like, hey, you feel like firing everybody. The same thing on the other side of the coin. Empathy is very, very critical in leadership. And empathetic leadership has, ability to understand the need of others. They are aware of their feelings, thoughts, and they can relate at their levels. Because you stay in, Ikoyi, and your office is 5 minutes drive, your 5 minutes drive, somebody came late, or something happened, or somebody wants to, sir, can I close by 4? The person is staying in Abulegba, or is staying very, very far away. You're using yourself 5 minutes just to say that, oh no, everybody must stay. Then you are not empathetic. You're not thinking about what they go through. They said, oh, Oshodi is boiling. People are fighting in Oshodi and all of that. And, at that point in time, you can't take a decisive, you can't be very, very decisive in your approach to say, everybody going to that place, you need to leave now before you get that. That is being empathetic. That is thinking about people that you lead. And it actually flows from the love that you have for them. Because if you don't love them, then you don't care what happens to them. You treat them like a number on an Excel that if he dies tomorrow, we replace. I think work relationships should go beyond just treating people like a number on an Excel. So let me move ahead quickly. Toka, I don't know how we are doing with time. Just let me know, send me a chat and let me know if I'm running out of time.
All right, sir, please check your chat to drop some messages for you.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, guys, I just want to see what is happening. Toka, no problem. We can always, yes, I understand. We can always live with this. So, when you talk about empathy is in, 3 ways. One, you have what we call cognitive empathy, which is an ability to put yourself in the shoe of other. The second thing is emotive empathy, is to actually, feel with the person. Yes, you're not going through that thing, but you can feel with the person. The third thing is, the empathetic action itself. Don't just feel, but, show some level of care by, being ready to actually fix something. Yes, somebody, is sick and all of that, or something happens to something, nothing stops you from saying, oh, team, let's go visit the person. That is some actions to follow your empathy. So I think we started a bit late, so just give me some 10 minutes. Let me do justice to this. Now, there's what we call the wheel of empathy, and these are the things that are very, very important. One, there's what we call the peer awareness. There's what we call self-awareness. When you are able to observe people, read their emotion, they come in the morning and you can actually read your team to say, okay, what exactly is happening to this person? How is it feeling? It doesn't feel like this. That is somebody who is in tune, who can observe, and who is able to actually read the mood of the environment. So everything is not jump into work and start doing. You need to be, take some level of care and understand what your teams are going through. So let me move into the last one, which is leading with equity. And this, I think, is very, very important. Equity is not being equal. Don't let us confuse equity with equality. No. Equality means each individual or group is given the same resources and opportunity. That's equality. Equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocate the exact resources and opportunity needed for each of them to what? To fulfill whatsoever task has been given to them. There is a particular thing that I saw that sort of explain what equity is all about. If you look at this diagram, these two guys were given the same, what do you call it? The same ladder, and it's high. But one is closer to the fruit, the other one is not closer to the fruit. But when you talk about, and when you even look at it, where the guy at the left under equality is, where he is, the fruit are more tilted towards down, but this one, the fruit is what? They are up. So the two ladders cannot actually function effectively. But when you look at equity, equity means that you then begin to give this other person a ladder that is a bit higher, that helps the person to actually, assess the fruit. This is a perfect description of what equity is all about. And it means that when you are doing your assessment, when you're doing your career assessment for people, these are the things that you need to actually consider. It is not about somebody staying in the office till 5 p.m. It's about what are the key deliverables that this person has delivered. Because I've worked under managers in which they deceive them by sitting down till 5. And when it is 4, because that was what I booked with the organization, I leave. And that became something that, the manager was using against me, that probably I wasn't committed. And the question then becomes, am I doing my job? Yes. The answer is yes. I will even finish ahead of everybody. So the question is, you are in your judgment, you are not serving equity. You are thinking about something else. So as a leader, you must embrace equity when you deal with your team member. So let me finish with the and the and is very, very important, because one is about, 4 things that are very, very critical. When you lead with the and, you are able to support your team. You are able to coach them, you are able to direct them, and you are able to delegate to them. These are all powerful things that you do when you lead with your hands. On the other hand, a good leader stands up to shield his team member and not offer them a sacrificial lamb. You will get to a time when you need to defend your team members. It's very, very critical. And when you are going to lead successfully with your heart, with your head and your hand, you must embrace this characteristic of standing for your team. So leadership is like a journey, guys. So sometimes when I see leaders who crucify their subordinates, I ask the question, were you this perfect when you started working? The answer is no. So the question then becomes, why can't you give people opportunity to actually cut their teeth, support them? So when people start, there is a time when they become totally dependent, and they move from total dependency into partial dependency, when they can do some things on their own and still rest upon you. And then they move into a point when they can actually become dependent, and you give them tasks, they can sit down and do the tasks on their own. As a leader, you need to understand which level is each of your team members and support them based on your understanding of the level in which they are. Great leaders understand the need to develop their team both horizontally by increasing their ability in their current role, and vertically by positioning them for upward movement. So as a great manager, you are a coach, you are a cheerleader for your team members, you are a defender, and you are a rewarder. So to actually deliver exceptional leadership and be balanced, you must embody all of these things that I have discussed this afternoon. And to wrap it up, you can like people without leading them. John Maxwell said this, and I think I love it. But you cannot lead people without liking them. And it is very, very important that as a leader that is going to be successful in career and people are going to, enjoy working with you, you must embody leading from your head, your heart, and with your hand. Thank you very much, guys. And I think that is over. If there is, I think we will probably, take the questions after Emmanuel finish his session. So let me call Emmanuel in, and then we'll be able to take the questions at the same time. But remember, guys, that I said that we are going to do both, the good cop and the bad cop. So you are going to be hearing some things from Emmanuel. Just a moment, guys. Okay, you can go ahead if you have any comment at this point before Emmanuel joins.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach, for the very insightful session. I'll hand over to my good colleague, Osaze, right now. For the audience, please remember to drop your questions in the chat. We're taking note of all your questions. I will attend to them in the end. Over to you, Osaze.
Osaze, please, Toka, please take note when Emmanuel, okay, Emmanuel is here, so that's fine.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Coach, for the wonderful session. I'm sure everybody that's joined was able to pick a couple of knowledge nugget from that. Up next, we would be bringing to come and talk to us again someone that I also call a coach. I also call the embodiment of wisdom. This is a man with 2 decades of experience in consulting and FMCG industry. I mean, across Diageo, companies like Diageo, Heineken, Ernst & Young, Jotner Group. I mean, this is a well-rounded business and commercial leader with a strong track record in brand communication and experiential strategy, portfolio commercialization, insight generation that has delivered strong return on investment, on cutting-edge innovation, and high-performing team leader. I'm talking of someone that is highly skilled in regional and national communication and local insight generation to deliver strong brand growth. I'm talking of someone that has worked for over 2 decades, managing over 20 brands in Nigerian marketing landscape that spans across the Heineken Group, Diageo Group, talking of Malta, Guinness, App, Satzen Brown, and the Heineken Group from Gouda to Stout and Co. I'm talking of someone who is also a multiple award winner and a marketing thought leader of repute, who got listed in the top 50 African marketing leaders in 2021 by Marketing World magazine. He also won an award as the outstanding marketing personality of the decade in 2021 and an outstanding marketing personality of the year in 2020 by Marketing Edge magazine. I'm talking of someone who is a communication professional and has bagged his MBA from the Lagos State University and also an MSc in media and communication from Pan-African University, popularly known as the Lagos Business School. He's a certified managing consultant and a member of the body of fellows of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria. He's also a part of the Institute of Professional Managers and Administrators, that's FIPMA, and Institute of Management Consultants. He's currently a faculty member of the Rome Business School, Nigeria, and Tekedia Institute, Boston, USA. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome Emmanuel Agu to speak to us this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Am I audible enough?
Yes, sir. We can hear you loud and clear, and we can see your screen as well.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. Just 1 minute. Okay. Guys, welcome to this session. I'm delighted to be in this session to discuss with us on this topic that Coach Abiodun has given to me. Now you can see that he has set me up for public scrutiny and antagonism. He wanted a good cop and a bad cop. And in his wisdom, he has chosen to be the good cop. And he has given me the bad cop. And he has taught us a lot of emotional leadership, taught us everything about emotional intelligence. And now he wants me to talk about the leadership that have got no emotion. I think it is emotionless for Abiodun to do that to me. But that is fine. So my topic is to discuss about emotionless leadership. I find this topic a little bit difficult, not to say, but at the same time, I also think that this is what people need. Especially in Nigeria, not only in our businesses. We need this in Nigeria and everywhere in the world. I've never seen a family where the father is good, the mom is good, and the children all turned out to be good. In my own family, my father is the Mr. Nice person. I have never for once remembered when my father have ever beaten me in life. In his 97 years of life in this world. But I can't say that about my mom. The opposite is that it's uncountable the number of times my mother has beaten the hell out of me. So, but then you see a balance in the home. We have someone who we can fall back to, and we have someone who, when she said a word, you better do it or you face the consequences. So I want to start this presentation. It's just a very few.
But can I share from my end? Your presentation seems blurred.
Oh, okay. Okay, you can. Let me stop sharing from here.
Yes, let me share whether it's going to be clearer here. Or maybe I'm the one that caused the blurring.
No, share from your side.
Share again. I just closed something. Let's see whether it is clearer this time around.
Okay. Be sure I'm sharing the right one.
Just go a bit. Just go to one of the slide. Guys, I think it's better this time. Just indicate in the chat box if it's better, because I can see it more clearly now.
Is it better?
It's better for me. Yeah, clear. So they say it's clear. So you can go ahead, sir.
Okay. So thinking about this topic, I have to welcome us with some quote that I think is in sync with the topic of this evening. And one of them is from Daily Inspirational Quotes. It says, one great lesson I learned from my life: there is no market for your emotions. So never advertise your feelings, just show your attitude. And the second one is from the Holy Book, Apologies for Muslims and Other Faiths, in the class. But I also find this very interesting. It's from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11, from the Amplified Version of the Bible. He said, because the sentence against an evil act is not executed quickly. In some verses, they use speedily. The hearts of the sons of men are fully set to do evil. Guys, if you relate this to what is happening in Nigeria, you see that the scripture can never be broken. If all the vices and all the evils that are happening in this country, that at the moment those things happen, there is an immediate judgment, I don't think people will be encouraged to do things having a mindset that I can do it and get away with it. Today, we are talking about presidential aspirants, vice presidential aspirants, governors, and all whatnots coming out in the public to tell the Nigerian populace that they don't have school certificate or they don't have primary school certificate. That's because sentence against evil is not executed speedily. When there is already a precedent that they can ride on, when Buhari was admitted into the presidency without full verification of his school certificate or primary school certificate, then it becomes a precedent for others to follow. And that is because sentence against an evil act is not executed at all, or not executed speedily, or not executed quickly. Then the hearts of the sons, in this case, the sons becomes very generic because it also encompasses the daughters. The hearts of the sons and daughters of men are fully set to do evil. Then the third quote is, to be stoic is not to be emotionless, but to remain unaffected by your emotions. This is coming from James Pierson. And then the last of the welcoming quotes to set the tone of my presentation is this: leaders don't worry about being liked. Business fact. If you're a leader today and you are worried about whether people will like you or not, you are not yet ready to lead. As a matter of fact, I have conducted this ad hoc research, or what I call desk stock research, so many times in research and then in just sampling people's opinion. And then I asked my team, who do you like? The leaders that people fear, or the leaders that they love? I have been getting different versions of answers from company to company, from people to people. You know why? When you are a leader and your people fear you, they do your bidding. They know that you are a leader who is specially skilled in consequences management. Come on, the carrot and stick. You do it right, you win a brownie, you get a carrot. You do it wrongly, we're not here to play pranks or play or crack jokes. You get a stick. Is it the leader that people fear or the leader that they love? Most times again, the leader that they love, they play truancy. They become nonchalant. Oh, he will understand. Is it not Emmanuel? I don't feel like going to work on Monday. Just coming out from this salad break. Let the weekend continue. No, we've been at home on Monday and Tuesday. Why should I go to work on Wednesday? Let me call my boss. You will understand. I'll just tell him that my daughter is having a running stomach. I won't be able to come. And then he will understand. Why? Because he loves us. And then work keep on dragging. And permit me to say that there is no fast and shortcut to leadership. And that's why the mantra of situational leadership arises. When you get into leading people and you find out that showing them too much love is making them to become lackadaisical in their attitude towards their work and towards every other thing, then you have to flip the coin. And that is where situational leadership becomes very imperative. So welcome to this meeting with these few quotes. And then let's get into some few slides. I don't intend this meeting to be about presentation. I intend it to be about conversation and sharing real life experiences. But as a marketing person, if they take away PowerPoint from us, we'll become 75% useless in our field, because you will always have something to share with people to set the tone of your conversation. So why emotionless leadership? With all the good news and the good things that Coach has painted about emotional leadership, emotional intelligence, do we still think that there is need to have emotionless leadership, as in leadership that is void of emotion? I mean, we are here to do business. I don't care who you are. I don't care what has befallen you. Look, at the beginning of the year, we sat down and we agreed your KPIs. And now, end of the year, you are now coming to tell me stories. It is what it is. We commonly and often hear that word. It is what it is. Guy, you did not meet your KPI. And by standard of this organization, what you are having is a C or a D. And in some organizations, they categorize from exceed expectation, fully meet expectation, mostly meet expectation, and below expectation. And then some even have exceptional before they exceed expectation. And then you will be structured based on your performance, on your KPIs. Oh, it is the year 2020. It is a COVID year. We couldn't even go out. Unfortunately, our financial year starts from January to December. And we have already agreed KPIs in January or agreed KPIs in February. And all of a sudden, this Italian man, in this case, that brought COVID into Nigeria, came into Nigeria in February. And we had lockdown April and May, and some organizations continue with the self-isolation, working from home. Some of the things that needed to be done in the field were impacted. And then at the end of the year, your manager looked you eyeball to eyeball and said, we have a certain expectations of you that was detailed in your KPIs, duly signed off at the beginning of the year. You can't tell me stories. I don't want to understand that there is COVID. I don't want to understand that you could not go to trade because you are careful not to contact COVID-19. We have a KPI sign. I don't want to moderate it. And you are begging me to understand. Do you also beg me to understand as an entrepreneur and as an employer of labor that your salary was not cut? Yes, it's COVID year, but every month you earn your salary in full. And you are now giving me reasons and excuses why you cannot meet your KPIs. And then they will end up with, it is what it is. And then we look at it and we say, man, this guy is hard-hardened, very, very emotionless. In some way, you even say the person is plastic. But emotionless is also part of leadership. And as we get into conversations, I will share some real-life examples, even the ones that have also impacted me as a person. And then at the end of the day, I begin to understand that the cap the entrepreneur wears or the employer of labor wears is different from the cap the employees are also wearing. Employees feel good when it is getting toward the end of the month. Some organizations have standard days in the month when salary is being paid. Some are paid on 22nd, some are paid on 20th, some are paid on the 25th, some are paid on the 28th. While you are happy when you look at your account balance or you are running low on money, but it is 22nd day of the month and you have 3 days to pay day, You can even burn all the remaining cash in the bank because you know that in the next 3 days, 72 hours, you will bounce back again. The way you are feeling very expectant to that payday is the same way entrepreneurs and employers of labor are feeling jittery that it is yet another payday. I have to pay staff, I have to pay these people, I have to pay these people, and then they look at their balance sheet. How much revenue have we got? With the whole intimidating inflation rate at 18.6%, and the whole of Forex issues, and the whole of series of business issues that are affecting corporate businesses in these days and time. And then you will understand why emotionless leadership is very important. He has taken a commitment to pay salary, and you have taken a commitment to get some work done. And when you don't get it done, you come back with baggages of excuses. Meanwhile, not a farthing, not a kobo has been extracted from your salary because you didn't meet your KPIs for the month. Emotionless leadership. Let's get into it. Why emotionless leadership? Because leadership is tough. It is not tough to be a leader. I don't know how many of us that saw when Buhari is saying, I'm even getting tired, I can't wait for May 2023. So I will go back to Daura or to Kaduna. Leadership is not easy. Leadership is tough. And why is it tough? According to Frick Vermeulen, author and associate professor of strategy and entrepreneurship at the London Business School, it is common for smart leaders to make bad decisions. And most of the time, emotions are to be blamed. When decisions are made based on one's own personal feelings, instead of basing them on the facts at hand, good order and discipline is lost. Okay? Make effective judgments. Leaders must put personal emotions aside and make the tough decision. So you understand why leaders do what they do. You don't mix emotion and leadership. You don't blend them. You don't trade them. There was a time in my days in Diageo when Keith Richard was the managing director, CEO of Guinness Nigeria. And then we have the MD of Diageo Africa by name, Dr. Nick Blasquez. Keith was about to be fired because of some one-off performance. Remember this man, I met him in Guinness in 2002 when I joined as management trainee. But by 2005 or 2006, he was fired. He was in Guinness since 2000, and he got fired in 2006. But he had a very shoddy performance in 2005. And he had a track record of excellent performance for almost 5 out of 6 or 7 years of being the helmsman. But that just 1 year of bad performance, he was fired. And we said, no, this is very unfair. Why would Nick Blasquez fire Keith Richard? But guys, we are not aware of what is this man's salary. We're not aware of what is this man's spec in office. We're not aware of what he has committed to deliver to Diageo Africa. It is signed in black and white. You do this, you get this. You don't get this, you lose this. And to make it even worse, the day he was fired, the MD of Diageo Africa, Dr. Nick Blasquez, flew into Nigeria, came into the country. Anybody who has worked in Guinness, we know, where is this place that Guinness managers normally stay along Ikeja GRA? Nick flew into the country, came to the office, had conversation with Keith Richard about performance of Guinness Nigeria and while he will be fired. He stayed in the office. He asked him to resign because at that level, you will not ask the person you are fired. You ask the person to tender resignation. Keith wept, cried, relied on previous performance of how he has grown the business from a moderate number 2 business in beer business in Nigeria then to a very strong number 2. Pouring in all the emotions of how the business has been restructured and how the difficulty in that operating year was the reason for the shoddy performance. And it is not like it's a shoddy performance back to back. It is a one-off shoddy performance. And Nick said, I hear you, Keith, but we have an agreed KPIs that we set at the beginning of the year. Everything that you asked for as the GM of the market was delivered to you. But everything that we have asked from this market, you have fell short of. So consequence management has to come into place. And Keith was fired. No emotion, zero emotion. Do you know the funny thing? After firing a man from his job, you rode with the same man in the same car to Shoni Barre close. Yes, I remember, it's Shoni Barre. Most Guinness top flight executives live. To the same building, to the same apartment. And you slept over in that apartment and took a flight the next day. I say, Allah Shanumi, I will kill you if I'm the one you treated this way. As a management trainee, I did not understand what has just happened. There was an agreed KPIs. There was an agreed performance metrics that should be delivered. And when it was not delivered, consequences management kicks in. That is leadership. That is emotionless leadership. But that is leadership at its peak. Again, because leadership is tough. When you accept it, you accept both the perks and the honor that goes with it and the consequences of not meeting up and implications of it. Again, because leadership is about life-changing decisions. It's a matter of life and death. And why is it life-changing decision? And why would the leadership be emotionless? Because it's involved life-changing decisions. Well, okay, sorry. When leaders make the tough call, they maintain good order and discipline, and trust and respect, and uphold the company's core values. Emotionless leadership is about service before self. Oh, is your brother, or is your relation, is your cousin, but he has performed below average. He has to go. Is service before self. Making life-changing decisions is often the hardest part of being a leader. To soften the blow to your own psyche, always do what is right, not what feels right. Oftentimes, when a hard line is taken, the offender is less likely to repeat the act, and others in the unit are less likely to make the same bad decision. When you take a hard stand, you will see that once the first culprit is disciplined, everybody falls in line. But if you become soft-hearted about it, things will continue to go bad. So, therefore, when making uncomfortable decisions, put personal emotions aside, uphold the core values, maintain good order and discipline, and become the trusted and respected leader you strive to be. Yes, it is tough to do this, but it is doable. Gentlemen, it is doable. So, my slide seems to be freezing sometimes.
The slide is emotionless.
I'm telling you. So,
is it moving now?
Yes, it's moving.
Okay.
And
cool.
can you all still see my slide?
Yes.
Yes, sir. We can see your slide.
You must take emotion out of the equation. Why? Why must you take emotion out of the equation? You know, Kashim Shettima, senator and vice presidential aspirant of the All Progressive Congress, made a statement some few weeks ago before he was even appointed as the VP aspirant to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he made a statement against the incumbent vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and said, look, Osinbajo is a nice man, but guess what? We don't need nice people in leadership. Nice people should be selling ice cream. We need tough and tough people. As belittling as that statement sounds, as insulting as it is to the personality of Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the bloody truth is that it is the truth. Nice people don't survive in business. Mr. Nice, good man. Good people don't survive in business. Take my word. The world of business is the world of dog eat dog. It's an emotionless business terrain. Nice people, they sell ice cream. According to our dear Senator Kashim Shettima, they are not in the presidential palace. They sell ice cream on the street. So you must take emotions out of the equation if you must succeed. Again, because if you don't take emotions out of the equations, it has implications. You need to consider the implications when you don't take emotions out of the equation. Number one, when we are emotional, we react immediately and impulsively to the situation at hand, but fail to account for not only the consequences of our decisions, but the impact on our audience. That is what emotion would drive you to if you don't take it out of the equation. Second one, when leaders react emotionally, they send a signal of instability to those inside and outside of the company. What do you think that cost Goodluck Jonathan his presidency? He's an emotional man. He's a nice man. According to my good friend Shettima, he should be selling ice cream, not leading Nigeria. Jonathan was there when Nigerian youths were gathered under the guise of employment at the stadium, and there was a collapse of some part of those stadiums and people were killed, and nobody was fired. That's an emotional leader. Oh, the minister for FCT or the minister for labor is my friend. He has helped me when I was doing, you helped him mop up a lot of votes in state. Is it because of this common error that he should be fired? No. He did not wield consequences management. And day after day, he caught a portrait of a weakling in the office of the president. And Nigeria en masse rose and voted him out. With all the nonsense that Buhari is doing this day, but you can see his emotionless and fearless face. Things will happen. He will still travel, come back and express shock. And then you see the picture where he sat in his living room, picking his teeth with toothpick, like waiting concern me. Oh, not all finish. No go to work tomorrow. You'll be fired in your office. And fear, no let even the lower and the upper house to even consider it one day of impeaching the man. Are there benefits of emotionless leadership? Yes. Are there also dismerit of emotionless leadership? Yes. And that's why Ajiborode, my friend, has spoken to you about emotional leadership, and we're here talking about emotionless leadership. When leaders react emotionally, they send signal of instability to those inside and outside of the company. And then the third one, think about how often you reacted to the situation in front of you, only to come back a day later and realize the implications of your actions. I leave this to you, you participants. You may have seen in situations in life where you have reacted, and then day after, you said, oh, because of what I have done, I'm now realizing the implications. And that's why they said, when you are emotional, don't make promises. Because you can make promises out of emotion. And then the implication will become a lifelong implication of things that you may not be able to fulfill. But you have already made it. You have already said it. And it's on record that you said this. And reneging on it makes you a man of dual character. Why we must take emotions out of the equations? Because we need to consider the implications. Secondly, I bring to us a typical case study. Again, forgive me, people from Muslim faith and other faith, but I know that even in Muslims, the stories of Abraham and Isaac is all well told. After all, we just finished Eid al-Kabir, where we slaughtered ram. And that is talking about the stories of Abraham and Isaac, when Abraham wanted to slaughter Isaac and God provided a ram. So, what are we talking here? Finding insight from the story of Abraham sacrificing Isaac. If I want to give a typical biblical example of an emotionless leader, I would take Abraham as number one. What could be more emotionless than after 99 years of living on planet Earth without a child? I think Sarah conceived when Abraham was 99 years. And the only child and the only son that you have. And the supreme being says, go and sacrifice him. Would you imagine for a moment what the kind of conversation that will be going on between Abraham and Isaac. For Isaac to have been big enough to carry firewood that they are going to use him, they are going to sacrifice him on, then he's no longer a little boy. Could you imagine the conversation going on between these two people on their way to the mount where Isaac would be sacrificed? And how Abraham would have hidden his emotion about killing Isaac, and how he was hell-bent on obeying those instructions. And what the conversation will be when they are returning from that mount after God has provided a lamb. And probably the questions Isaac will be asking his father, so this wood, where is it make I carry? And I they tell you, where would they go? He say, if they carry me, they go where I don't know. So now you for just kill me like that. And the man is saying, I am just obeying the instructions of God Almighty. Emotionless. Who again betrayed his emotion? Abraham did not betray his emotion in carrying out this assignment. He became a typical a character that exemplifies a very strong emotionless leadership. But watch the story of King Saul in the Bible and King Agag. Saul was anointed king of Israel to lead the people of God, and was rejected as the king of Israel because he failed to become an emotionless leader. Why? My God. Okay, sorry. Why? Because he spared the king called King Agag. I will tell us the story. And then his throne was lost. Agag also refers to the Amalekite king who survived King Saul's extermination campaign as punishment for Amalekite crimes in the book of Samuel. Saul was instructed by Samuel the prophet to wage a war against the kingdom of the Amalekites, and that everything, man, woman, children, beasts of the field, household animals, should be slain utterly, completely. That was the instruction. A complete and utterly destruction of Amalek. That was the instruction. Saul, as the king, went to Amalek with the Israeli soldiers, and they destroyed everything, man and beast. But when Saul found the king of Amalek, King Agag, handsome king, intelligent king, 6 foot tall, well built, with 6 packs, looking princely and elegantly as a king. Saul said, no, far be it from me that I will kill this man. And not only that, he also spares some animals, fat animals, well-nourished animals, and then he brought them home against the instruction of Samuel the prophet, which is also against the instruction of God. And when Samuel visited Saul to see how the war in Amalek was executed or prosecuted, and he started hearing the bleating of the ram, the sheep, and the goat, and here it is, Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Samuel asked him, why did you spare the king? And Saul started giving excuses. And that is where the popular phrase, to obey is better than sacrifice, came to be. And the kingdom of Israel was taken away from Saul because he refused to be emotionless as a leader. He brought his emotion betrays him. And remember, why you must take emotions out of the equation is to preserve the core values, to make sure the right things were done. So Saul failed to execute Agag and allowed the people to keep some of the spoil. And this resulted in Samuel's pronouncement of God's rejection of Saul as king. So interesting paradox here. You look at Abraham, emotionless leader, only son, he's willing to do what the Holy Book, what the core values, what God have asked him to do, irrespective of whose ox is God. And then look at Saul, doing all the things that he was told to do, but not doing it exactly the way he was asked to do that. So he became compassionate. He became a man full of emotion. He killed some people, greater part of the Amalekites. He spared the king and his palace and all the nice sheep, oxen, goats, rams, and all of them. And he said, I want to sacrifice it unto the Lord your God, Samuel. And Samuel told him to obey is better than sacrifice. And to hearken is better than the voice of reasons. So, two things. Saul disobeyed, became emotional, lost his throne. Abraham became emotionless, and his faith was proven, and he earned a generation. So many finds Abraham's behavior to be reprehensible and emotionless. At the time, God tested him by telling him to sacrifice Isaac as a burnt offering. Abraham obediently placed Isaac on an altar and took a knife to kill him. Then an angel of the Lord appeared and told Abraham to spare his son because Abraham had proved his faith. Emotionless in leadership, very, very key. I leave us with this video. I saw this ad when I was trying to do a mini research on this topic, and it speaks to what I wanted to tell us here. When we play this ad, I will come back to it again to kind of like try to interpret it for people who did not get it. Let's play the ad.
License and registration.
I ain't gonna be able to do that.
Ma'am, you are driving too crazy around here. I need to see some license and identification.
And I completely understand that. I do. But I'll need you to give me 3 minutes. Is that okay with you?
Ma'am, I don't want to ask again. Can I see some identification?
3 minutes.
Ma'am, can you step out of the car?
First off, watch your motherfucking tone. You're not gonna talk to me like I'm a child. Life been real hard for me. I don't even got a life. I don't have time for fun. But I do have time to get these nails done. And what I'm not gonna do is mess up my nails looking for a piece of paper with some names and numbers on it for you.
My wife passed away 3 years ago. She was attacked by a vicious dog. The house ain't been the same. I've still burned all the eggs. So I know how it feels to lose yourself. I miss Lisa. I'm still grieving. But you still need to get the fuck out the car.
I don't know where we get the ad. It's a nail polish ad. But guess what? The cop is emotionless. Even though he tried to show some level of emotion, but look at the end of that ad. The lady was driving crazy on the street. He has his nails painted. Maybe he was waiting for the nail to dry. Nobody knows why she was doing what she was doing. And the cop accosted her and asked her, why are you driving crazy around this area? Can I see your papers, driving license? Just like our normal Nigerian police men will ask you. And the lady said, oh, I don't have your time to start finding where the driver's license is. I just made my nail and I don't want my nail to stick on any paper. And then the guy said, please be serious. I need this. He said, don't talk to me like a child. The man said, okay, I understand your feeling. Just for you to also know that I also have feeling. My wife was attacked by a vicious dog. He died some years ago. He's still on my head. I'm still grieving. I miss Lisa. We saw tears rolling down the man's eyes, the cop's eyes. At the end of the day, the job has to be done. Can you get the fuck down from the car and give me what I want you to give me? There is no emotion. Maybe I'll play it again so that we understand it. Then we'll go to the end note. The nail polish art, beautiful art that speaks to the properties of water.
License and registration.
I ain't gonna be able to do that.
Ma'am, you are driving too crazy around here. I need to see some license and identification.
And I completely understand that. I do. But I'll need you to give me 3 minutes. Is that okay with you?
Ma'am, I don't want to ask again. Can I see some identification?
3 minutes.
Ma'am, can you step out of the car?
First off, watch your motherfucking tone. You're not gonna talk to me like I'm a child. Life is real hard for me. I don't even got a life. I don't have time for fun. But I do have time to get these nails done. And what I'm not gonna do is mess up my nails. Looking for a piece of paper with some names and numbers on it for you.
My wife passed away 3 years ago. She was attacked by a vicious dog. The house ain't been the same. I've still burned all the eggs. So I know how it feels to lose yourself. I miss Lisa. I'm still grieving. But you still need to get the fuck out the car.
So I hope we got a lot of lessons from it. On summary, end note, I have this for us. When next you have displayed the traits / characters of emotionless leadership and the thought of guilt subsumed your soul and mind, remember, you didn't make the bad decision as a person. Your office did. And why do I say so? Sometimes in leadership, people will think this man is hard-hearted. This man is wicked. Does he have a wife at home? Does he have children? Does he have sisters? Why is he this so mean and callous? Why is he this bad? Remember, nice men don't survive in business. And nice men are good in selling ice cream. So when these kind of thoughts, when you have taken a difficult stand, when you need to punish disobedience, when you need to set the record straight, and this thought as human will always swell up in your mind and in your soul, remember, you didn't make this bad decision as a person. Your office did. And that is why today, whatever you see Buhari have done today, you see the presidency, you see the president. And most times they will say, oh, from the presidency. Who is the presidency? The office of the president. So the decision of the office has to be to get the things right, done the right way. So whoever gets in there, gets into that office, and there is a huge demand of that office that need to be isolated from your personality to do the right thing. So when these thoughts of, oh, am I being so wicked? Am I being so callous? I fired him because he presented a wrong documentation? Oh, he's very nice at his work. But when we did a background check, we discovered that he had a fake GCE certificate. But he's getting the job done. No, you would have let him be, but you got him fired. Remember, you did not do that as a person. You did it as a result of the high calling and the demand of your office. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. Very, very instructive. And thank you for that twist. Team, at the beginning of this session, I remember I told you guys that we have, a balanced meal for you. So as a young one, I took the easiest part of it and I gave the hardest to my Egbon to actually shoot. The idea is letting you know that to effectively deliver leadership in a business environment, you need that balanced edge. You're not tilted towards being too soft, and neither are you tilted towards being too, unnecessarily harsh on people. That balance is very, very important. I love the fact that, everyone has tried to establish the fact that when you run a business, it is a business. It is not a joke, and that is why those deliverable parts cannot be taken with levity. However, let's also think about the first part to it to also balance that. And that is why I love the end video to say that the man actually, felt the pain of the woman. He has a particular incident in his life that relates to that. However, the job has to also be done. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. Toka, I will leave it to you to take, the questions. Let's quickly wrap up so that we can release people to go rest for tomorrow. Remember, it's emotionless. You have to go to work tomorrow.
Thank you so much, sirs. Really, really insightful session, impactful session. I was obviously pushed a lot with the insights, right? Firstly, coming from Coach Abiodun about leading from the head, which is all about being knowledgeable, leading from the heart, loving the people you lead, also leading with the hand, right? Coaching, guiding, and teaching them to do their job excellently. And another very important part of the session also talked about equity versus equality, which really stood out to me. And then from Coach Emmanuel, removing emotions to do what is right and preserve the core values. And one key standout for me from the session is that being emotionless, it's not about dismissing the emotions involved. It's you acknowledge those emotions. Yes, they're there. As a human, you have those emotions, but looking above and beyond those emotions to do what is right, to do what is required. Thank you so much, sirs. Team, please share your questions in the chat. I'll be reading out some of them for our hosts, for our speakers to address. But let me start with some of the questions that we received in the first section. First one is, this is for Coach Abiodun. What advice do you have for professionals who are currently victims of toxic leadership, especially one who has to endure as there are currently no alternatives for this person? What's your advice for this person?
Okay, thanks for the question, the person that asked the question. So, number one, maybe like my learning around, when you do doctorate, you do a lot of research and you do a lot of contextual understanding. So there's a context to what toxicity is all about here. So since I'm not part of that organization, I won't be able to expressly say this is this is what is the root of the toxic environment. But I'm going to answer generically to say, if you're in an environment that is toxic, it means there is a breakdown in value system of that organization. Because if a system is working that actually checkmate the manager and checkmate, what do you call it, the subordinate, then the idea of being unnecessarily toxic will be removed. So number one, I would say there is a fundamental breakdown in the value system of the organization. That's one. Number two is to say, if the question is about your line manager that is wicked to you, in quotes, and that wickedness now is there's a context around it, whether you are not doing what you're supposed to do, and that is why you're getting those backlash. I'm sure you can pick some of your flaws and what you should do right from what Mr. Emmanuel has said. So, however, if it's a matter of you just have somebody who is unnecessarily difficult and you're doing your job, you're delivering on your KPIs, and you have the right attitude to job, and still the person is in that state. To be honest, if you are in an organization, your manager is your God, like I tell people all the time. You can't do anything about that. That's the truth. But I think the only thing you can do is, to, one, be a bit bold to ask questions, and the right questions, both from your HR team to understand exactly what is the implication of whatsoever negativity you are getting from your manager, so that at least you can understand if there is a contextual or an organization framework that guides how people relate to each other. If you go to your HR and all you are getting is that, it's a backing to the manager and it seems as if the whole environment is all over the place, I would honestly advise you to start thinking about an exit move. That's the truth of the matter. Because again, if a system doesn't checkmate a lot of things and there are no check and balances, then people get emotionally battered, and then you leave them with some collateral damage. And there's nothing you can do in that kind of environment. I've been opportunity to work in some companies in which you can't do anyhow. That's the truth of the matter. It's KPI that ties us together. Deliver your job, I deliver mine. You can't work in Coca-Cola and be calling people you are a bastard, you are this. These are very, very foul languages that is going to be used against you, and even the manager can be out of the business. That is when you have an environment that has a system that is working. If your environment is a one-man business in which the man is the one even abusing you physically and abusing you emotionally, then I would rather suggest that you start looking for an exit plan. That's my answer to that question.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll take the second question for our second speaker, Coach Emmanuel. It says, how do you lead a stubborn subordinate? How do you lead a stubborn subordinate? Of course, putting in perspective what you've shared during this session.
Okay. Just that we know, I am not an emotionless leader. I was given a job to do, and I delivered my job. But I'm a situational leader. I balance emotion with non-emotion. And why do I say so? Because we're human. Sometimes you need to put yourself in the shoes of others to understand what they are going through. But that does not mean that business must suffer because you want to be helpful. To answer your question, I'm going to use a practical example because this is a practical session and we should learn from it. I worked in Guinness from 2002 and I left Guinness in 2012 to Nigerian Breweries, started working 2013, January 22nd precisely. I got into Nigerian Breweries as marketing manager for Legend, Life, and Gouda. And I met a team that is very demotivated, as in, how do you join a business and you're working with people that are so demotivated, you are not going to make any headway. I have as a brand manager who has been on a job level. If anybody knows Nigerian breweries, except they've changed the calibration of the job level, he has been on a job level 10. This guy made first class economics from Covenant University. And his only crime and sin in the business is that he made first class and he came in and he refused to be bullied. When you are talking, we're saying things that are not making sense, he will chip his own insight. And I mean, to sit down in a classroom for 4 years and come up with a first-class degree in economics is not beans and rice. Now people take that confidence that he has as arrogance, and they started punishing him by keeping him on one level for a long time. So he was already 7 years on that grade level when I joined. And when I came in, he was like, should be my job now is to help this guy now to build his own career. Before you know it, they move him to Amsterdam, or he goes here, or he goes to that place. And then the views I got from my contemporaries, my marketing managers, peers in that place, is that he's a very stubborn guy. So, and when I give him job, because he's very demotivated, you will see the way he would just do it. He was emotionless. His demotivation makes him not to even know that he has a boss. And I looked at him and I said, I understand how this guy feels. I have been in that same shoe. I was an assistant brand manager in Guinness. I was virtually the longest serving assistant brand manager. I was on that role for 4 years, getting to 5 years before I was even promoted a brand manager. So I know what it means when someone ought to have gone up in the ladder. His mates are on job level 20. And in MB, you have job level 10, job level 15, job level 20, 25, and 30. He was on job level 10, and I came in on job level 25. And in 6 months, I was moved to job level 30. And this guy has been on job level 10 for 7 years. So I called him. We have a discussion. I said, boy, I know how you feel. Nobody will be in your shoe and will give his best to this company. But trust me, everything bad that they have said about you, you're stubborn, you're heady, you're this, you're that, in 6 months, I have worked with you. I know you're not stubborn. I know you're smart. I know you're intelligent. But the team that have managed you have not positioned you very well. They have packaged you for failure. Now, we have to work together. There is a job to be done. There's a job you need to do for me, and there is a job I need to do for you, for us to get to this promised land. What is the job? You on brand, good. I'm going to set KPIs, the things I want you to deliver. And once you deliver this project, leave the image laundering for me. I'm going to talk to the marketing director. I'm going to talk to the people that are involved. And I'm going to push for your promotion to the next level. He said, boss, you know they're possible. They have done 7 years, nobody could do it. I said, you've got a different kind of leader. I'm coming from Diageo. At least my manager who hired me knows why he went to Diageo to pick me. He would listen to me. He would give me the benefit of doubt. And then we struck a deal. These are the projects, these are the KPIs. I took those projects and the KPIs that I set for him. I went to my director, then Walter Drent, the marketing director of Nigerian Breweries. I said, Mr. ABC has been on this role for 7 years, not being promoted. I want to know why. He said, Philas is getting from his managers was that he's very stubborn, is this, is that. I said, I beg to disagree, sir. If there's anything, this guy is loaded with content, but he has been badly managed. And I want that situation to change. And these are the projects that I'm putting before him. These are the KPIs. If he delivers this project based on the KPIs that we have agreed, I'm going to move him to job level 15. And I want you to agree to that. And my boss says, what are the projects? I said, we have Gouda Ultimate Search at Obotakara in Akwa Ibom. I'm going to let him lead this project. I'm not going to put the senior brand manager on it. He will be the leader of this project. He will drive it end to end. And if he can deliver without failure this multi-million project, then there's nothing he cannot deliver in this business. That will be a test of his leadership. And we agreed. I pulled the senior brand manager on Gouda. I pulled him out. I said, you do the subordinate role. You're going to support this guy. He's going to lead this project end to end. I believe you me honestly. When I told the guy that leading this project and getting the job level 15 is in your hands. Deliver this and watch me not do what I've told you that I'm going to do. 6 months' time, he delivered the project excellent. We did that project, delivered it excessively. And I took the result of the project because data don't lie. And I went to my manager and said, Mr. Olorioko has delivered this project as we have agreed. Now it is my turn to fulfill the end of the bargain. And he was moved to job level 15. The following year again, I put another project for him. He got it done. He moves to job level 20. Today, I'm no longer in Nigerian breweries. But if there are Emmanuel's faithful men today, these guys remain faithful to my vision and to my mission. Because for him, for the first time in his life, that he has seen a manager come to him, not in arrogance, to find out what is the root of the problem and not relying on third party. Oh, this is what they told you. And that's how they destroy people in an organization. You join an organization, people will come and tell you that this person is bad, this person is this person is that. Have you ever taken time on your own to do the investigation? I can even tell you, Toka, for 6 months in Nigerian brewery, a subordinate of mine wrote a petition against me. Anybody who is on Nigerian brewery that is on this call will attest to what I'm saying. Or if I may use the word of P2B, I say go and verify. 6 months on the job, my peers who were not happy that I came all the way from Guinness and took a marketing manager role when there are 2 or 3 people in the organization who could have been promoted to marketing manager. They sowed the seed of discord among my subordinates. Don't support him. Let's see how he's going to succeed. Look, if these guys survive and succeed in this place, Nigerian breweries will now start going to Guinness to go and recruit people instead of promoting within. That is emotionless. They want to preserve the core of the business by destroying me. And in 6 months, not up to 6 months, a subordinate of mine that I asked to do something wrote a petition against me. He did not write a petition against me. He wrote a petition against me, sent it to the HR director, Mr. Victor Famuyibo, and copied the marketing director, Walter Drent. I was in a course in Dubai. I was at the Africa Middle East conference that the marketing director sent me to represent him. On dropping in Dubai, checking into the hotel, getting into the conference room where we're going to have this program, open my laptop, I saw a query. I thought query is you, the manager, giving your subordinate query. But it was the other way around. My subordinate giving me query, giving me instruction to answer it within 24 or 48 hours. Otherwise, disciplinary action would be made on me. I have never seen a reverse subordinate manager role before in my life. I saw it, I read it. Time will not permit me to go into the content of that query and why the query came. But I was trying because I've read the mood of the marketing floor and saw that there was a gang up against me. People who doesn't want to cooperate with me, So I'm coming from the enemy camp. There was a very serious gang up, and I told myself, the only thing that will make me survive in this place is do the freaking work. Do the work. 6 months, I have used 6 months to try to parley people to see if I'm a jolly good fellow. Guys, don't kill me. I've left the enemy camp to come to your camp. I can show you how to kill them, but you want to kill me. And when all entreaties failed and nobody is willing to give me any helping hand, I said, if they say they want to kill you, do you also want to die? I said, man, never. I'm not going to die. And then I zeroed down on the job. Get the fucking job done. And when you do your job, then you put the enemies to shame. And in doing that job, my subordinates have already been fed with a lot of things. We need to bring this guy down. And that is how I got a query from a manager reporting to me. When I saw that query in the morning in Dubai, I also noticed that my boss was in Amsterdam. He has seen the query. So I said, this man will call me now. Walter will call me. But before he calls me, let me answer my query, because I was given 24 hours. And I took the query paragraph by paragraph by paragraph by paragraph, and I answered the query. After answering it, I sent it to the guy, copy HR director, copy my marketing director. Shortly, I got a call from Amsterdam in Dubai. And what did my boss say? He said, Emmanuel, why did you answer that query? What precedent are you setting? How can your subordinate give you query and you answer it? I said, he gave me query and he needs clarity. I have to provide those clarity so that it doesn't look like what he's saying is the truth. He said, well, don't bother yourself, continue with your meeting. By the time you come back from Dubai, I'll get you a new manager because I'm going to fire him right from Amsterdam. I said, you can't do this. You can't fire him. He said, why? He stabbed you on the chest and you still want to keep him. He's a betrayal. He's this, he's that. He's working with enemies. I said, but you can't fire him. It is not your job to fire somebody that offended me. I'm the one that will tell you when to fire him, but for now, don't fire him. These are the things that I need to manage. He said, okay. When I came back, I didn't confront the person that gave me query. Everywhere in the office was so tense, people were waiting because they've all known that I have gotten a query. Oh, they have reported me to HR now. Very soon now, they will start packing my load and carry me, they go where I don't know. And they wait. I didn't follow anybody to talk. I pretended as if to say there was nothing, that I didn't even get an email. Even my subordinate got worried because I'll come to him and say, we have not done XYZ. When are we going to do this? When are we going to get this report? Do a weekly meeting, no emotions, nothing happened, everything was okay. The guy was worried because everybody was expecting me to come with hell, fire, and brimstone. I ignored them. Then when I came back and my boss came back, he called me for a meeting and said, what do we do to this guy? I said, he lacks maturity. You know, you promoted him from sales to marketing. There are basic fundamental knowledge of marketing that this guy did not know. And that is why he was disagreeing with me. And that's why he was querying me. We need to train him. We need to bring him up to a level that his knowledge of marketing at least will come closer to understanding what I'm telling him. And the man said, go and list the training that you want him to undergo. And then I listed about 7 trainings with timelines on those trainings. Shortly after, HR called him and said, you'll be going on so and so training. He went back to his camp and said they are sending him to training. They started clapping for him. Say, if you have not given that man, if you have not struck him the way you struck him, you see, now you are getting relevance, you are getting known. The young man did not know that his training was coming from his enemy. So I left it until half-year appraisal. During the half-year appraisal, objectively, what is the KPI set? What was delivered? We followed the appraisal. have the right appraisal conversation, ask him to talk about me, what are the things that I'm doing that he doesn't like. Then he finished saying it and I get into AOB. When we got into AOB, and I asked him one question, I said, how do you feel the way we're working? Do you think there's love between us? Do you think that we're collaborating enough? He said he doesn't know. I opened my laptop. I showed him the mail from my boss, the marketing director's mail that detailed why and how he should be fired. That mail was written to the HR director with only me in copy. And I showed him my response, why I said he should not be fired. As this guy was reading this mail, he was already having Parkinson. His hands were trembling. I just showed it to him. And then I flipped again on the other side of the laptop. I showed him where I recommended trainings for him. And he is on the 3rd training. These are the remaining 4 trainings to come. I said, because you need to operate at the same frequency that I'm operating before we can collaborate well. After I showed him all this, he was deflated. He didn't know what to say. This same person left that appraisal. And I asked him, I said, if we continue to work this way, this is just 6 months, 2 of us. If I am to remain in this business and I'm to become your boss and I'm to remain your boss in the next 4 years, how do you think, who will suffer? Who will bear the brunt of this animosity between us? He started shedding tears. I left him. Message passed. 4 days later, the guy came to me and said, Emma, I'm so sorry. These are the people that engineered me to do what I have just done. And they are happy clapping for me. I didn't know that I'm even dying. You know what? Let's keep this frontal face the way we keep it, as if to say we are enemies. Then let me spy for you. That is how I won this guy. Everything my colleagues were planning against me that they were telling him, he will come and be telling me, oh, this is what is going to happen. Oh, don't go here. This is where they set trap for you. Don't do this. Oh. They thought I am still in their camp. And that is how I survived. It takes love to win back people, but it takes understanding to know where there are pain points and what to address. So a subordinate that is disobedient or insubordinate, you can win the person. Try and find out what is the root cause. What's the root cause of their grievances? Late Yar'Adua was able to contain the Niger Deltans, not by the forces of the barrel of guns, but by dialogue. Understanding that they have a genuine cause. They are fighting environmental issues. Their lands are deteriorated by crude spillage. And the money is being used for people who doesn't even know what they are going through, environmental issues. There are different ways of managing a subordinate that is recalcitrant, not just by the stick. Let me stop here.
Thank you so much, sir. Your stories are always enriching, and it puts us in that exact situation and shows us how to respond. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your feedback and the insights you've shared with us throughout this session. Okay, I will be rounding up shortly. In the interest of time, let me call on my colleague, Bisayo Aderibigbe, to give us a vote of thanks and a few reminders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Toka. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel, and thank you very much, Coach, for the wonderful, very, very impactful session. And I, on behalf of BME Nigeria and the entire team, and our guest as well, would like to thank everyone for joining this session. Thank you very much for taking our time to participate in this very, very enlightening session. And our next cohort, the Brand Management Academy, next cohort will be in September 2022. And you can register with the link www.bit.ly/BMA application form. I'll drop the link in the chat box very soon. Thank you so much. We can also be reached on our social media handles, BMA Nigeria on LinkedIn, at BM Academy NG on Instagram, and via email bmaacademyng@protonmail.com. And I'll drop the phone numbers as well in the chat box below. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you everyone, Toka and the team. Thank you, Egbon. Always a pleasure to have you around. Guys, thank you very much. See you on the next series of the Emotionless. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye.
Thank you. And God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's quite scintillating.
Thank you very much.